Welcome to the Encore Audio Archives YouTube channel. I'm Taper Dave, and this is my channel. I've uploaded hundreds of talks here that I've recorded at meetings in West LA, and I've also recorded conventions starting in 2013. I've got a bunch of those up. And Walt and Mary Murray, the original owners of Encore Audio Archives, started the company in the 80s, and Walt recorded Joe and Charlie's and a bunch of stuff down in Vista, California. My sobriety date is June 20th of 1994. I hope you find something you like, so please like and subscribe to my channel and comment down below. If you want to hear something that I don't have or that you don't see, I'll see that I get it. Anyways, take care and have a great day if you want to.
I turn the light on. I'm dark. So y'all can see me. Now you just see some teeth. Wait, let me move. Let me move this a little bit. Okay.
Yes, she is.
Good evening. My name's Theresa. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Theresa.
Grateful to be here. Grateful to be sober because of a loving God. Whew. I'm so nervous. I get some stuff out of the way that's in my head because I was anticipating Sunday. Just drove in, flew in, no sleep, so I don't know what's going to happen. I had a wonderful outfit planned for you. So I'm just, still tripping on that. Okay. Luckily, no matter what, I still dress like a lady. Okay. I want to thank the committee and Roger for asking me to come out. Thank you so much for doing a 12-step call on me and giving me the honor and the privilege to be of service and to give away was so freely given to me. So thank you so much. There's a lot of bugs going around. Should I have sprayed some off or something? All right, just checking. None down there? They're all up here. Otto! I had fun. It's the light, huh? That's funny. I had fun driving up with Otto. You guys in for a treat tomorrow. Listening to him and certainly Terry. I was looking forward to hearing her today. Oh my goodness gracious, great balls of fire. Doesn't matter how many times I do this, I'm still nervous, I'm sick to my stomach, I'm dizzy. I feel like I gotta go to the bathroom, but y'all won't let me go right now. It's a lot going on. I'm always saying, all right, God, I'm here. Anytime now. This is your gig, man. I just showed up. People staring at us, you know what I mean? Oh, goodness. This is not very enjoyable. It really isn't. I want to welcome anyone who's new and tell you that the program works if you work it. I'll continue to say this, I believe it, and so I can also hear it, is that there is a moment of silence and prayer that takes place in every meeting all over the world, and that is for you. But for the grace of God, you have been lifted up and brought into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. That was not your idea, and you don't get credit for that one. You've been given a gift, and it's a gift unearned. And if you be new, I hope you've gotten desperation. And we ask you to just keep coming back. And let us love you till you can learn to love yourself, and don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens. And if alcohol's through with you, welcome home. I want to thank you call them long timers today. I like old timers. I want to thank you for my life and my sobriety. I still want what you have, and I don't ever want to lose that. So I need you to keep coming back, to be an attraction and set the example. I love the old timers, even the grumpy ones. You know, I like the grumpy ones because I look at the other old timers. I've been hanging out with them for 30 years, you know? And they're like, oh, yeah, that's Dave, you know. We share in a general way what it used to be like, what happened, and what it's like now, and there's a reason for that. If you be new, I'm really grateful that I'm not a spokesperson for Alcoholics Anonymous, and we don't get paid to do this, and I'm not here to pitch you or sell you anything. The doctor's opinion talks about depth and weight. It is the language of the heart. It is the music in these rooms. It is the only thing that has captured the attention to a drunk like me. And if you be new, I hope you hear the music. For you see, it goes past your disease that is centered in your thinking and goes straight into the heart. And once it's in there and the seed's been planted, you can't drink the same again. We've ruined your drinking forever. And I ask that you listen to the similarities and not the differences. And you get to ask yourself a couple of questions like, that happened to me. I felt that way too. And more importantly, perhaps this program can work for me. I'm so grateful to Alcoholics Anonymous. Sometimes I say words can't describe the gratitude. My sobriety date is March 29, 1990. For the grace of God, I've had the honor and the privilege to be sober one day at a time, 20 years. Crazy. That's crazy. I look good, right? And like, you got sober when you was 15 or something? I got sober when I was 25. I'm a Puerto Rican girl from New York City. I don't know if y'all get Puerto Ricans out here. You got some Boricuas out here? Oh my God, okay. Some Boricuas in the house. Puerto Rican from New York. As the story goes, I'm born addicted to this lovely disease. My mother's an alcoholic, and everyone in my family are alcoholics and or addicts. The way my mother tells it is I'm a product of rape. My father has a different perspective. I let them work that out. But my mother really hated me being born, and she drank and she used and she did all kinds of things to abort me. Needless to say, I was meant to be here because I'm here. But I came out of my mother's womb detoxing and begging for alcohol. And my mother left me in the hospital, and it was my dad and my grandmother that came to get me. And they told me that the only way to keep me quiet was to put alcohol in my bottle and on my gums. I have pictures growing up, and all my pictures of me and my walker and my birthday parties, I'm loaded. So I don't know anything about drinking socially or crossing an invisible line or peer pressure or drinking at the prom and all that kind of stuff. I pretty much drank to breathe. I drank alcohol like water. I didn't eat. There was a lot of things going on in my home. I lost my virginity at 5. People took turns with my body, men and women. There was a lot of physical abuse, verbal abuse, emotional. I say religious because I went to Catholic school. It's not against the Catholics, but it's just, it was abusive. It was just weird, and how I would go to church on Sunday, and I sang in the choir, and I did my confession on Saturday, and I did the Our Father and the Hail Mary, and it just didn't compare to what was going on in my house and in my life. A lot of people say, you know, my life was pretty tragic and you could write a book about it, but I think my story serves a better purpose in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. So you see, alcohol was my lover and it was my companion. Alcohol was my friend. Alcohol told me if nobody loves you, I love you. If nobody needs you, I need you. I got your back. I'll take care of you. Everything is gonna be all right. It's just you and me. Those are the conversations I had with my bottle. I didn't share my booze. I didn't go out to parties drinking. I drank in my house. My heroes and my role models were pimps, dealers, hustlers, prostitutes. And that was my family. That wasn't in the streets. That was in my house. Those are my cousins and my aunts and my uncles, and I looked up to them and I respected them. I hung out with Colombians since I was a little girl. I seen a lot of people shot, OD'd. You put them in the closet. I walked down the street with my cousin. He gets shot. I was like, oh, well, who else can I hang out with? You know, it's funny when I talk about her, and I say her because I feel like I'm talking about a stranger. I didn't know anything about being selfish or self-centered or driven by 100 forms of fear, or that I had low self-esteem or low self-worth. I didn't know that I had an empty hole that I needed to fill. I just know that I needed to drink. And we talk about incomprehensible demoralization, and I tell people that was my life. Alcohol made it better. Alcohol wasn't the problem. Alcohol didn't cause the things that were going on in this world. And so I danced with alcohol a long time, and I've seen a lot of things, and I've been in a lot of crazy places. I went to juvie. I've been in and out of alleys. I can hang out in alleys, I can hang out in corners, and I can hang out in Wall Street. I know how to be a chameleon. I could do happy hour and pretend that everything is okay. I left home at 14. I went with a man who was 26, 11 years my senior. He beat me on a daily basis. You couldn't have told me that wasn't love. That was my man. And he kept me supplied with Southern Comfort and all those other party favors. And that's just what you do. The life I lived is just what you do. I don't remember doing a New Year's resolution. I didn't say tomorrow's gonna be different. I didn't say I have to stop doing this, it's getting bad. That was my life. I had my own business. You see, in my family, people died from the disease of alcoholism, and that was the norm. Everybody had Hep C, everybody had cirrhosis of the liver, diabetes, kidney failure. When you die in my family, you die with your drug of choice or your drink of choice in your coffin, and we take pictures. We took pride in that. And the same things that were going on in the projects in New York where I was growing up was the same thing that was going on in the mountains in Puerto Rico. There was nothing different. I didn't know any families who were living a healthy, normal life, only the ones on TV. Like Leave It to Beaver and Father Knows Best and the Brady Bunch, all that nonsense. I always say, I remember looking at Marsha going, I want to be like her. That girl got a pimple and started tripping. I was like, she need a drink. What's the matter with her? Tumultuous life. Running with the best, learning from the best. I thought that life was good. I really did. I never questioned it. It trips me out. I don't ever remember saying something's wrong with the way I'm living. And if you got in the way between me and my booze, you needed to go. My criteria to relationships was that you drank too. That's all I needed to know. What happens to a drunk like me when all of a sudden I'm sitting at a bar and I'm drinking and I turn around and I look at you and you still ugly? I don't know about you, but that's scary, yo. When I know that you should have transformed by now. And I take another drink and I try it again and you still ugly. That's scary. They say alcohol stopped working. I've heard people in the rooms, they say alcohol didn't stop working for them. I'm like, why are you here? They did an intervention or something? I wouldn't be here. Incomprehensible demoralization. I didn't come to Alcoholics Anonymous because of the consequences of my drinking. Consequences don't get my attention. I'm a real alcoholic. I'm not the type of alcoholic that drinks too many martinis, wakes up with a stranger, crashes my car and say, maybe I need to go to AA. Takes a whole lot. What happened for me was that alcohol stopped working. It didn't do for me what it said it was gonna do for me. It told me that it would always take care of me. It told me it would always love me. That it would always soothe the pain. It would make everything all right. It would comfort me. And no matter what was going on in life, it would be there. Because nobody else was. That I would never have to feel pain, ever. That you could sodomize me, you could pistol whip me, you could beat me, and it's all right. See, I tell people the good old days for me is going to some club or going out somewhere. I run into somebody. I think you're cute. I say, I want to sleep with you. We get ready to leave. You bring 4 or 5 of your friends. I don't ask no questions. The more, the merrier. We go to some hotel, and somewhere in that night, I get sodomized, pistol whipped, and gang raped. I crawl to the bathroom. I fix my hair. I put on my makeup, I take a drink, and I go back out there and I do it all over again. Those are the good old days. But now these things are happening and I can't fix my hair no more. I can't put on my makeup anymore, and I can't take a drink, and all of a sudden, I'm noticing. I always slept with Cousin It. Are you kidding me? They're the best ones to rip off. I wasn't embarrassed about waking up with some strange, ugly person. But now all of a sudden I am. And now I feel dirty. And now I feel ugly, and I don't know how to shake that off. For you see, I'm emotionally retarded. I got no coping skills. I don't know how to live this thing called life. I don't know how to be present for this experience. I ain't got no tools. I don't know how to do this. All I know is I reach for a drink, I drink, and it's all good. Now I'm reaching for a drink, it ain't all good. I do it again, it ain't all good. I do it again, it ain't all good. I got a problem. And now the only thing I have left to do is to invite death into my life. I remember when I started regretting every waking moment. Every time I woke up with another breath, it was painful. Because I got to try to do this again. And now all I can do is hustle. And I'm trying to hustle the next one and hustle the next one. Because you see what? I got to get the edge off. I love Dr. Bob. I'm just trying to get tight. That's all I know is I got to get tight. Because when I get tight, then I can get it together and I could keep doing what I used to do and it's going to be all right. But it wasn't all right. I had 6 months of that. My bottom came quick. I had 6 months of being present and alcohol not fulfilling its obligation as it always did. The doctor's opinion tells me I like the effect produced by alcohol, and I am restless, irritable, and discontent unless I find that ease and comfort that comes immediately with the first few drinks. And it ain't coming, and I'm still restless, irritable, and discontent. And now I notice how thin I am. And now I notice that my skin is ugly and I'm not as pretty as I always thought I was. And no outfit's gonna fix it. And now I can't bathe because the water hurts my skin. And I'm throwing up. I'm in and out of hospitals. I'm malnourished. You know, I told somebody if I was guaranteed that I can go back out and drink, that I can go back into a state of oblivion, I'd probably do it. But I've lost those privileges. And what ended up happening was I was homeless. I couldn't keep a job. I couldn't keep up. I couldn't hustle. I couldn't run no more. I stopped paying the bills. And I ended up bouncing back and forth from my dad's house to my grandmother's house. It's real funny, you know, I hit my bottom with my grandmother and my father, and they were the ones that came to pick me up in the hospital. And the circumstances of my bottom is this. I'm pregnant on my 4th child. I've lost 3 prior. All my babies fall out in toilets and in floors. And this baby wasn't falling out in the toilet and the floor like the other ones, and it was doing something really weird to my body. And I didn't understand why it didn't come out in the toilet or on the floor or something. I didn't understand why it wasn't coming out. And I was hanging out with the father of that child. We went our separate ways. I forgot something, and I went back to where he was, and I walked in on him sleeping with a guy. And I say those are the circumstances of my bottom, because I come to understand that a bottom is something that happens on the inside. With all the things that I've been through in my life, I walk in with my boyfriend sleeping with a guy, and I go, I'm done. You figured I'd be like kidnapped, like Patty Hearst or something. No, I walk in, my boyfriend's sleeping with a guy. And he's only doing what we gotta do to get what we gotta get. I always say his bottom is my bottom. He hates that story. It took them a minute, Otto. I just think that's God. I believe that God was up there going, because they talk about signs along the way, I just believe God was up there going, if this don't get her. I don't know what they're going to do with my poor baby. And I don't ever want to forget this day. You told me not to forget my last drunk. And this was my last drunk. I looked at him and I said, I guess you want to be with him. You don't want to be with me anymore. And I did the walk. It's the aimless walk. The walk with no purpose, no agenda, no destination, nothing, man. A walk. I couldn't even find a cliff, yo. And I ended up in a church on Parsons Boulevard. The door was red, made out of wood. It was real heavy. The handle was square, brown square handle. It had those nails, those big clavos, those big nails. And I remember pulling that door open and going in there, and it just clumped behind me. I don't know if there was masks or people in there, but I just remember I walked inside that church and I sat down. And I felt a presence in the church. It's more like the presence that I feel in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. And I said a prayer. It's a prayer that's different than any other prayer. It's a prayer that I believe get most of us here that I don't hear a whole lot about today. I prayed out to a God that I had renounced such a long time ago. And I asked God to please allow me to feel the peace that I felt in that church inside of me. I had no idea that my life was going to change from that day moving forward. I had the gift of desperation. I love my buddy Ralph that says, thank God, God don't make misery comfortable. I like when he says that. I was hurting, man. I was in pain. I didn't know that my life was going to change. I didn't even realize how sincere that prayer was. Nothing. I just know that from that moment, from that prayer, I was catapulted and my life it changed. From there, I went to my father's house, and when Daddy opened up the door, what came out of my mouth was amazing. I said, Daddy, help me. And if anybody knows me, I ain't no punk. I don't ask for help. I don't come from that. That's not the world I come from. That word, we don't say that. You could say it to me, because then you'll owe me for the rest of your life. I don't mind helping you. And I believe God did for me then what I couldn't do for myself. And I don't want to forget what my father said, because it remains true to me to this day. My father said, with all the love that a father has for his daughter, I have to watch you slowly kill yourself, and there's absolutely nothing I can do about it. He knew he was powerless. He said, I wish I could lock you up and put you in the closet, but I can't. He said, but I tell you what, you're standing in the middle of a crossroad, and there's 3 directions you're headed. You're so close to them, you could taste them and you could smell them. And that's jails, mental institutions, and death. He said, there's another road, this thing called recovery. It seems dark and mysterious. You don't know anything about it, and neither do I. But if you give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, the other 3 will be waiting for you. You know, every year on my birthday, I call my dad, and I call sponsees and my mom, and I always go, another 365, Daddy. Thank you. I don't wait for people to call me on my birthday. And I went out to California. My dad and my stepmom put me on a Greyhound bus. And I went to California because we have a tradition around here. It's called attraction rather than promotion. It's one that I live by today. My mother currently, she has 24 years of sobriety, and I have a cousin who has 23 years. And I used to come out to visit them in California. And they used to bring me to these meetings. And I would drink before, during, and after. And these events like you have here, we have musician picnics and all these little outings and domino parties, and I would go. Maybe you ruined my drinking. And at no time did I think that the seed was being planted. I didn't even know I was paying attention to you people. But when I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, I remembered the faces of the people in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I remember your smile. The laughter that we do here, that belly laughter, I like to laugh. I had never experienced a laugh like that before in my life.
Sorry to interrupt your viewing. Taper Dave here. Just wanted to take a second to ask you to like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if you like what you're listening. I've got some very good talks here, and this one's a great one. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Tell me what you think.
The warmth and the camaraderie that you have with one another. To this day, I still watch people. I watch people before the meeting, during, and after. I like to see people when they don't know anybody's looking. And more importantly, I remember that nobody ever shunned me, shook their head at me, or sucked their teeth at me, or tried to shove a pamphlet down my throat. And I thank you for that. And I detoxed on that Greyhound bus. I threw up, I shook, I sweated, I hallucinated. That was painful. I had my last drink in El Paso, Texas. When the Greyhound bus stopped there was a man, and I heard him faintly. And he said, come with me, I know what you need. I know what you need. You need to come with me. And it was almost like he was carrying me like a like I was wounded, like a warrior that was wounded. I put my arm around his neck. And he carried me around the corner from the bus depot to a bar. And he ordered a drink. To this day, I don't even know what it was. But I remember that he held it to my mouth because I was shaking so bad, and I slopped it up like a dog that had been out of water. And I believe that man saved my life. I share that story, and I love to see him one day. I could have died on that bus. I had not been without a drink in this body since fetus. And I was really sick. And he knew I needed something. I don't think I would have made it to California. And when I arrived in downtown Los Angeles, I was wearing a size 1 pair of pants, 2 pants underneath. I had a huge sweatshirt, 4 months pregnant, a dead baby in my belly, didn't have a heartbeat by the time I got there. My hair was matted all over my head, and skin was all messed up. And my mother picked me up, and she dropped me off in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. She turned me over to the very people that had saved her life. You told her that she couldn't help me. And if you be new, I understand. I came in terrified. Even though I had a moment in that church, it wasn't that I was so clear that I really wanted some help. I was scared, and I didn't know what was going to happen to me, and I was 3,000 miles away from my home with these people. But I knew that this was the last house on the block. And that if you couldn't help me, somebody need to blow my brains out. I showed up here like I had 20 bullet holes in me, like I showed up at an emergency room. And I don't care about your credentials at this point. I just need somebody with a needle and a thread. It's been that way for me ever since. I crawl in these rooms. That's why I'm so grateful to all those who came before me, because they spoon-fed me. They extended their hand to me. They didn't wait for me to extend it to them. I always say I'm so proud of the breed I come from. I got sober in 9604 in Crenshaw, Lano. That's still my home. So many of the old timers have gone on, and I am responsible to carry the same message they carried to me. And they loved me until I can learn to love myself. Some people say it's kind of harsh or tough. You need to do something to get my attention. I didn't come here to play with you people. This ain't no social club. I didn't come here, I wasn't all like, ooh, ha, ha, you know. No, I'm dying. And there I learned the drink is to die. They told me you ain't got to take a drink again if you want to, and more importantly, even when you don't want to. They told me to sit down, shut up, and listen. Take the cotton out of my ears, put it in my mouth, because my best thinking got me there. It sat me up in the front and told me to listen like the dying only could, and to examine my relationship with alcohol and to get honest for the first time in my life. And I began to listen to you. And you began to explain the things I had done, the places I had gone. I was shocked. I watched these women get up there, and they were such ladies. They had such elegance and beauty about them and a sense of confidence. I saw it in their eyes. And they used to drink like me, and they used to do the things that I did, and they weren't doing it no more. I always say the very first thing that Alcoholics Anonymous gave me was the possibility that living might not be so bad. They gave me a sponsor. I didn't pick one, fire them, change them, all that kind of stuff. I don't know what that's all about, whatever. But I understand, because people doing weird things, whatever. I always think about that. I'm like, if I would have changed sponsors, who was I going to? Everybody was saying the same thing. Who would I change to? You know what I mean? They're all saying the same thing. I love 9604. I like bringing sponsees over there. They crack up. Everybody says the same thing. The program is outlined, the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. I was a drunk, but today I'm not. But for the grace of God, here I am. I'm a miracle. Thank you. Goodbye. Sit down. Next. Program is outlined, big book. I love it. I was brainwashed. I remember they used to say, your brain needs washing. Anytime I used to say I think, they used to say that's the problem. They told me my ego must be smashed, and they helped me to do that. They told me about myself. I remember I used to walk around saying I didn't prostitute, and I wasn't a prostitute, and I didn't hoe, and all this kind of stuff. I used to say, that's a yet for me. Because yet means you're eligible too. And I love the women. They be like, oh, really? Let's see. You ever smiled at a guy, he bought you a drink, and you went home with him? I was like, yeah. They were like, you a hoe. Don't get that twisted. I was like, man. But I was really grateful. They were a lot of Skid Row. They came from Skid Row, and so their bottoms were really deep. And, you know, I just love that. I just love that. We were talking about that coming up there, you know, up here. It was like, for them, it was a good day because they got their teeth. They were like, I got on clean underwear today. Today's a good day. I love that. And I was like, that's what I want. I want clean underwear. I walked around with crusty, nasty, dirty underwear. I want to know how to have clean underwear. They gave me the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous and told me that the program was outlined in that book. That's how thousands of men and women had recovered from a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body. And that if I wanted what you had, I need to do what you do. I don't need to alter it. I don't need to change it. I don't need to fix it. I can, but I ain't gonna get what you got. They used to tell me you could do whatever you want to do in Alcoholics Anonymous if you're willing to deal with the consequences. I remember an old timer told me Theresa, you too young and too pretty to die. Death would be a luxury for you. You're just gonna live out an alcoholic, torturous life. I was like, damn, yo, why you gotta go like that? You're scaring me. I love my sponsor so much. She had a mohawk. She wore one glove. She was a mix between Janet Jackson and Michael Jackson. She had the ring with the key in it. She changed her name all the time. I didn't care. She had a working knowledge of the steps in the book. That's all I need to know. I didn't go, oh, look at her. She's crazy. She's a freak. I don't care. I hung out with worse people. I love that the only requirement was a desire to want to stop drinking, that it didn't matter. If you asked me to be anything else more than that, I wouldn't be able to be here. I love the diversity of the rooms. This was the first time that I ever felt that I was on an equal playing field with anybody. All my life, I was always trying to be better than or trying to be less than. I'm better than or less than. I come into Alcoholics Anonymous and I just need to be a drunk. And if you be new, it don't matter. I don't care if you got a job, no job, you got a car, no car, hair, pretty, it don't matter. When I see people in the rooms that I see again, I just go, it's good to see you. It's just good to see you. And people were excited to see me back, and they had me sweep the floors and put up the chairs. They told me what to do. Nobody ever asked me what I wanted in Alcoholics Anonymous. I went to Al-Anon for that. In AA, they... I went to Al-Anon. I was like, ooh, I get to ask what I want. But nobody in Alcoholics Anonymous ever asked me what I wanted. They know what I wanted. I want a drink. They say, you, sweep the floor, put up the chair, go over there, do this, come with us, get in the coffee shop. And I went with them. I do that to this day. I always talk about a sponsee of mine had a sponsee, and then she says to her, she comes to me, she goes, I don't think she wants to go with us to the meeting after the meeting. I said, why are we asking her? She got 10 days, okay? Get in the coffee shop. You know what are you gonna go home for? Get in the coffee shop. We took me on 12-step calls, and we did step work and working with others, and I had to help somebody else, and they kept me busy, and my sponsor gave me direction, and I went right into the work because they told me that I must find a power greater than myself. I must. It wasn't maybe, it wasn't kind of sort of. I had to find a power greater than myself. The only step I needed to do perfectly was step 1. And I believe because you believed. Because you had said you had tapped into some power that had done something to you, and I had to find that power. Where was I gonna find that power? Through the steps, inside. I had to go someplace that I had never gone before on the inside. I say it's a simple program for complicated people. I always tell the newcomer, I wish I didn't get deep with you. It ain't that deep. It's not about the transons and the neurons and the nonsons and all. Sometimes people get too complicated. No, because I'm feeling and I think and all. Just stop it. They told me, just do it. Just do it. I'm so grateful to direct. Just do it. Just do it. No, I don't feel like going to meeting. Go anyway. No, I don't want to talk to you. Do it anyway. Anything my head told me, I didn't listen. They used to say, stinking thinking committee. I didn't listen to my head. I remember being on the bus. I used to talk to myself. I used to go, oh, you just shut up. I'm like, you're just a disease. You're just a disease. Just shut up. Leave me alone. I'm going to a meeting. I'm talking to my sponsor. I'm not listening to you. Shut up. I didn't care if they thought I was crazy. And I began to do the work. Was it uncomfortable? Absolutely. The 12 and 12 tells me that all 12 steps are contrary to my natural desire. They're not meant to be fun. I remember nobody promised me no bed of roses. I keep quoting Ralph because I love him, but in 9604, they always say, the only thing we guarantee you is sobriety. You want anything else, go get a job. Oh, this is nonsense. My sponsor wasn't my therapist. She wasn't my probation officer. She was my sponsor. And we trudged together. It was about one drunk talking to another. And I watched her. I watched her live this thing. And I did what she did. like I do today. There is nothing that I ask my sponsees to do that I don't do. And I do more. Sometimes they get exhausted. They can't keep up. Sometimes they be like, well, I don't know if I want to be spiritual, Theresa. You be doing a lot. And I began doing the work. In the beginning, I just scratched the surface, but it didn't matter. It took me 3 years to cry around here. And when I finally cried, my sponsor was like, it's about time. I thought I was going to have to cut you. I thought you had oil or something inside of you. There was so many things that had to be undone. Remember them telling me God had to break me down so he could build me back up again. Had to get rid of old ideas. I had a lot of old ideas, man, and bad tools. The only thing I had to bring to the table was willingness, because that's all I had when I got here. I had nothing else in the package, man. My thinking was warped. It was distorted. It was twisted. I couldn't rely on my perception. I needed you to straighten out the lens. I needed you to tell me what I really see, because I don't know what I'm seeing. I need you to help me what I heard. Did I hear that right? I remember I talked to people with an index card for 6 months. I didn't know how to talk to people. Talk about willing to go to any lengths. I used to be at my job going, with regards to the copy paper, I understand. And I began doing the work, and something happened to me. I can't take no credit for it. Something has happened to me. That till this day, I look in the mirror and I go, my goodness, you look familiar. We talk about a psychic change around here and a spiritual awakening. And something began to happen to me. Where all of a sudden I began to be other-centered. All of a sudden I really began to care about life and about others and about things. And I was looking in the mirror and I liked who was looking back at me. You gave me a purpose. My purpose was to stay sober and carry the message. I never had a purpose in life. I learned to put one hand in God and one hand in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I don't have to do nothing by myself. And I would go to you and I would ask you, how do you do that? I remember I hated women when I got here. Of course I hated women. I hated my mother. I hated myself. And I had to dance with the women. I always tell the women, you are my shadow, you are my mirror, boy. I remember I had to go to women. I used to say, you know what? I don't like you because you're pretty. That's why I don't like you. I think you're pretty and I don't feel pretty. Can you show me how to be pretty? I see a strength in you that I don't see in me. That's why I don't like you. Can you teach me? They told me the 3 essentials to this program was honesty, open-mindedness, and willingness. And I remember my sponsor telling me, you don't know what honesty is, so you tell me everything and I'll shift through the bullshit. And open-mindedness was just to the possibility that just maybe Theresa didn't have all the answers. Is it possible that just maybe I don't have all the answers? And I used to hear just a mustard seed of willingness, just a mustard seed. To just take the action and just put one foot in front of the other and do it anyway. The more my sponsor didn't make sense, the better it was for me to do it. And as a result, this woman has emerged. This lady, I have grown up in Alcoholics Anonymous in every area. You had to teach me about the 4 food groups and how you're supposed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And that that's a tree and that that's a chair and you sit on it. They had to teach me about hygiene and my body and how to dress like a lady. And how to be responsible and to show up and be accountable. And to let go and to say, God, what will you have me do? What will you have me be? Let me begin to trust in you because my ideas suck. And then all of a sudden something began to happen. My thoughts were no longer out to get me. I remember the obsession was removed because you told me that you prayed for it to be removed, and I did that, and it was removed. I always say, nobody's ever lied to me in Alcoholics Anonymous. The big book has never lied to me. I have a sponsee, she's gone through so much, and I told her, you know what, you don't even have to trust me or believe me, but believe in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. Because I believe in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. When all else fails, I work with others. I do what it tells me to do. Everything that's going on in my life is in that book, and it tells me what to do. It says problem, solution, promise. Problem, solution, promise. It even tells me how I can go back out and drink again. And you see, for me to drink is to die. So I put down the alcohol and I pick up the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And those are my new tools. Those are the tools that I use today. There ain't no gray area for me. I ain't got one. I don't know how to do in between. I don't know nothing about that. Just like there was no in between with my drinking. I applied to this program the way I drank. I drank every day, all day. It was a priority. It was all about that. So this is AA. It's all about that every day, all day. Unity, recovery, and service. I don't know nothing else. And my thoughts began to change. I can trust in my intuition. I have proper use of my will. There are no big deals. I get to make mistakes. I get to learn from them. I say I became a human being rather than a human doing. I've been getting an opportunity to live life. I learned how to live life on life terms. I remember when things were really bad, they used to say, this too shall pass. And when things were really good, they used to say, this too shall pass. Don't ever get too comfortable. So here I am, this drunk, who has an opportunity to be a sister, be a daughter, a productive member of society, when I thought I was worthless and unlovable and unneeded and unwanted. I get to be of service and help others. I love going on 12-step calls, and I pick people up in the street. I was telling them, to be at 7-Eleven. My sponsees laugh. I bet you that woman's coming in the car. I bet you she's coming in the car. I'm like, move in. Somebody else is coming. I get to live in attraction in the rooms and outside of the rooms to the best of my ability. There's a lot going on in my life today. There's been a lot going on in the last 20 years. I've discovered a lot of things about Theresa. Today I moved to Minnesota. I'm helping to take care of my brother. He's doing much better. He's going through chemo. His second bout with cancer. He's a single dad. He's got 2 boys, 7 and 12. They love their titi. They love me so much. I get to be an aunt to those boys. I help to take care of that mother that I shared with you. My mother and I be doing the dance, boy. She has Alzheimer's, and I help to take care of my mother. It's a lot when she be asking me what day it is all day long. But I put one hand in God and one hand in Alcoholics Anonymous. I don't do it alone. After this conference, I'm going to go see my dad. He's in Phoenix, and he has Parkinson's. I just buried my uncle from cancer and Hep C. And some days it gets dark. Some days I feel insane, and so I turn to you so that sanity can return, so that I can believe again that it's possible. I'm so grateful I don't got to act the funk. I don't have to act as if I came here to save my butt, not my face. I'm an alcoholic, and I do this one day at a time. I'm not here to impress nobody. I get to tell you when I'm doing okay and when I'm not okay. I heard the speaker. She was great. She said, I'm not doing okay, but it's going to be okay. That's where Theresa's at. I'm just sober. And for that, I'm grateful. What more do I need to ask for? Sobriety gives me the opportunity for another day tomorrow. Sobriety gives me an opportunity for change so that my spiritual muscles can be stretched, so that I could be of maximum service to those still sick and suffering. My sponsor taught me that earlier on. She said, it ain't about you. Anything you're going through, your life is about somebody else. You're going to have to help. So I got to help a lot of people because I go through a lot. My poor sponsees. I'm like, ain't nobody taught me yet. And if I'm sober, I know you can. This program works. I am truly a miracle. A miracle is something that's unexplainable. This ain't no magic pill, no magic potion. It's unexplainable. I should be drinking. With every reason that I should be drinking, I'm not. With all things that go on in life, good or bad, I don't reach for the drink. I'm filled with faith and hope and beauty, and I see the beauty in life and things and opportunity, and I'm like, my goodness, what happened to me? And that's why I cry. It's just tears of gratitude. I got an opportunity to live life. AA is like Disneyland for me. I don't know what it is for you, but it's been like Disneyland. This is all new. I don't know where you come from. But if you be anything like me, oh my goodness. Nobody touches my body anymore. Nobody takes turns with my body. I remember when I came here, I asked the old timer, I said, how do we do this? Because there's a lot of people. I don't know how we're going to work this out. I'm sure we can do it. But how do I sleep with all you, I love it. She said, now, baby. I like when they call me baby. She said, now, baby, I done slept with everybody in AA. You don't have to. That's Miss Iona. I miss her so much. And so whenever anybody would talk to me, I'd be like, you slept with Miss Iona. I don't have to. She told me I don't have to. So anyway. We talk about being rocketed into the fourth dimension. My insides are so at peace. You know that prayer that I asked God in that church? That's what's happened to me. I stand in the eye of the storm and I know God is. So I just know I'm going to keep coming back and I just keep helping others. A lot of people see me working with people and they think I'm brilliant. I'm like, no, I'm not. The book says when all else fails, work with an alcoholic. If sex is troublesome, work with another alcoholic. I'm always working with alcoholics. That tells you I got a lot more stuff going on. So I'm just grateful to be here. I'm grateful that I'm sober. I have an opportunity for another 24 hours. And no, I'm not okay, but it's gonna be okay. There's a lot going on right now, but that's okay. I truly believe that whatever's happening right now is that God is saying, I need you to clean house. I need you to continue to clean house so that you and I can dance together. I need you for so many more people and for so many things to do. And if this area is blocking you, I need to look at it. I need you to look at it and practice these steps so that you too can grow and change. I don't want to be blocked from the sunlight of the Spirit because they say sanity returns and then we drink again. It's not the other way around. And because drink is to die, then I'm willing to do anything that's necessary to clean house so that I'm tapped into this source of power so that drinking is not an option. But it will always be an option for a drunk like me. One thing's for sure is that I know that I got another drink in me, but I don't know I got another recovery. And so I continue to stand in a place of hope and faith and courage. I love this fellowship so much, and sometimes I feel I cannot give back what was given to me. So I want to thank you so much for loving me, to help find the God in me, allowing the God in you to help find the God in me, so that I in return can turn around and do it for somebody else. And real quick, I'm going to end with this because I like the dash and I need to remember it. A man asked me once, Theresa, tell me about your dash. And I learned something in Alcoholics Anonymous. It's some wonderful words if you be newcomer. It's called I don't know. It's really refreshing. And I said, I don't know. What's the dash? He said, the dash. On your tombstone is the date that you're born and then the date that you die, and in between there's a dash. Tell me about your dash. And you see, it's kind of arrogant to think I have a whole lot of time to contribute to my dash because I don't know the date that I'm going to die. So that means every moment of every day I'm contributing to my dash. I know that 20 years ago what you would have said. It's about time. I hope she finally got some rest. Maybe I can get some sleep. We probably can take the jewelry out now. But I think about my dash today. If I was to die right now, she lived a full life. It was rich. She was of service. She was a standing member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Every day I wake up, I ask myself, are you a member? Yes, I have a desire. I'm a member. Oh, she laughed. Oh, I love to laugh. And she cried. She had faith and courage and strength and beauty. Oh, she was such a lady. Compassionate. Found forgiveness. For you see, when you die, people don't talk about what house you have, what car you drive, and what job you got. When you die, they talk about your character. And thank God for Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 steps and the 12th tradition. They were able to help build the character to a drunk like me, and for that, I am truly grateful. And if that's all I got, I've been overpaid. I traveled the world without a dime in my pocket, man. I was telling Otto I ain't worked in years. But all those things is nothing compared to the riches that I've received, and I always have a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and clothes on my back. So if you be new, I hope you heard the music. And if nobody told you they love you today, I do. Just give yourself a break. And they used to tell me, give it a try. And if you don't want it, we can always refund you of your misery. No. Okay. I think my time is up. I'm over here boo-hooing. You get sober and you get so weepy, right? Jeez Louise. No, thank you all so much. I'm looking forward to the rest of the weekend, and my heart is full. So thank you so much, you guys.
I think we got a great talk going on here. Thanks for watching the channel. Taper Dave here. Just curious, do you think this is better than Zoom? Okay, this is how I prepare my drone for launching. I like to do it inside the cab of my truck so I'm not standing outside in the weather. To install the joysticks for control, up and down, right and left, powered on. I have an Android phone that I use to connect it to the drone with. And it's actually controlled through the iPhone, through an app. Oops, wrong way. It's actually controlled through the iPhone, or through this Android phone, through the app. It's actually controlled through the Android phone, through an app, and you connect it through this short connection right here.
Remote control connected.
Remote control's connected. So I pull out the drone. I have to extend the legs, long legs extended first, then the short legs. Remove the gimbal protector. Set that aside, then power it on one short burst, then one long burst. I lay it down. So I have to go to calibrate. So the drone's not connected yet. It shows you here as this drone gets disconnected, even though the remote's powered on. So the drone has to establish it's connected. So I go into the app to calibration mode. First I'll calibrate the remote controller. Start calibration. Out, in, oop, out, in, up, down, and then this little wheel is to control the gimbal. So it's calibrated. Go to gimbal calibration, start calibration, and then it calibrates the gimbal. I don't know if that shows up. The gimbal's moving all over the place. Changes, you can see it on the video. And I'm calibrated to take off. It's acquired 7 satellites at the moment. There are 26 satellites up in the sky, which it has to acquire before you can take off. So it's connected. It's got enough satellites. This is white. I can go to press this little arrow button, swipe right to take off, and it would start the motors if I slid this to the right. But I'll wait till I get outside. Don't want to do it inside.